Welcome to BBB, the Beauty Business Builder. This is the leading podcast in beauty business development. If you're ready to feel unstoppable and take your beauty business to the next level, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. You can connect with Essjay Hartshorn on social media and subscribe to Essjay's YouTube channel. Welcome to BBB.
Hi guys, this is Essjay from BBB. Thank you for tuning in. Got another great interview today, a raw stripped back interview with a fantastic guy who is in the PMU marketer. This is Jake Randolph. Now, if this is the first time listening to the podcast, then I do encourage you to go back. Obviously, watch this one, listen to this one, but do take it back to the beginning because there's some real valuable insights, some fabulous interviews along the way. And if you're a keen listener, then obviously you'll know the score and you'll know what kind of content that I try and give you guys. Before I delve in, like I've said in my other podcast, I'm actually giving shout outs to people that leave reviews. So if you leave me a review on Apple iTunes, then you may get a call out in the live. So I just want to do a shout out to some feedback that I got from, it is ASA Lamb, who gave me some feedback, 5-star. I started at the beginning. It's nice to see somebody with such passion and insight, easy to listen to, thought-provoking, and I've already taken on board some of the mindfulness tips and I'm implementing them slowly. So thank you so much for that feedback. If you want to get your call out, then leave me a review and I can do that for you. Without further ado, I want to welcome Jake Randolph from PMU Marketer. Welcome, Jake.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
I am very well, thank you. Very excited to have you on board. We've been trying to do this for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. So it's good to be here.
Yes, awesome. So the reason why I want to get Jake on board is because Jake is the founder of PMU Marketer, and he basically deals with ads. Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and using ads, helping you market them in the right way. So, Jake, tell us a little bit about what you do. And I know it is predominantly the PMU market, the permanent makeup market, but obviously this will help anybody in a similar personal care industry. So tell us a little bit about what you do, if you could.
Sure. So I've been in the industry about 4 years. About 4 years ago, I was actually talking with one of my family members. She was a permanent makeup artist. And I was kind of getting into marketing at the time. And she was like, well, I've been sharing some posts on Facebook and it's gotten me a little bit of results. And I was like, okay, let me try to help you. Long story short, she got booked up. I started booking up a lot of the salons she was working with, and then it kind of grew from there. Since then, I've worked with, a lot of people all around the world. As everybody knows, you're in the UK. I'm actually based in the United States, but, I found that every, permanent makeup industry or permanent makeup area around the world is very, very similar. And so I've been able to really take the results and stuff that I found and the strategies and really share it worldwide. And so I'm very blessed to have worked with a lot of permanent makeup artists, a lot of beauty business owners. Like you said, I'm mainly in the permanent makeup industry, but I've also, worked with a lot of salons, facial type stuff, spas, med spas, just pretty much anything in the beauty industry.
Yeah, and you're doing my work at the moment. I've just started a bit of a campaign with you for the BBB side. So, and I think if you've got the skills in that in the ads and you know how to target them, then you can obviously broaden it slightly. But you've worked with some fantastic people. There's some really well-known, respected artists that you've worked with. Will Anthony. There's so many out there that you've helped put on the map and helped them thrive, which is fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah. So like you said, Facebook and Instagram advertising, that's kind of where I really focus. But I think to be able to do good at advertising, you also have to understand a lot of marketing, a lot of psychology, a lot of other things, because the fact is anyone can go on YouTube and learn how to make a Facebook ad. But as many of you who are listening probably have seen, Facebook ads don't always work. In fact, Facebook makes all its money from people. And so what I really do is take my experience and make sure people are maximizing their budgets when they're running ads.
Definitely. So the biggest thing that I find that I come across, questions that I get asked, is the difference between ads and boosts. Because we're always, when we put a post on Facebook, we're always asked, do we want to boost it? And I've done it in the past, you're like, yeah. You have a little, throw a little 5-10 quid here and there and boost posts. So what is the main difference between an ad and a boost?
Yeah, so
a
boost is basically a simplified version of advertising. I like to say it's Facebook's way of getting your money. I've seen some people where the boost might help them out some, but even if boosting is helping you out some, then normal ads can do much better for you. When I say normal ads, I mean going into like ads manager in the background on a computer. It's anytime you're making any big advertising or marketing things, always do it on a computer. They simplify things on phones, and so you just don't get the same options. You don't get the same targeting capabilities and a lot of other stuff. Let's see. Also, boosts are pretty much they're meant to get likes and comments. And as we all know, likes and comments don't always equate to bookings and paying customers. And so just because you're getting some likes and comments on a boosted post doesn't mean you're really maximizing your ad budget.
Yeah, I lost you for a bit there. I think I got the gist at the end. So when you obviously run ads, you delve deeper. So when you delve deeper into doing your ads, you can cherry pick where you want to target. Is that right?
Yeah, you can pick locations of where you want to target all the way down to 1 mile or a zip code. Not only that, but there's a lot of cool things that I like to do called retargeting, where you can take like an email list, you can take people who have engaged with your stuff before, people who have visited your website, and you can target those people or a similar audience using Facebook's data. The amazing thing about Facebook and Instagram is just the sheer amount of data they have. They know everything about everyone now. Yeah. Their algorithms are so powerful. Back like 5 or 6 years ago, advertisers were getting all into like certain types of targeting, and now they've kind of leaned more towards letting the algorithm do the work, as long as you know what you're doing on other parts. But Facebook has a lot of data.
Yeah, and the thing is, if it's there, you've got to use it, because it's like you said, the retargeting. If they've already reached out and dipped the toe in a little bit, then they're the people you want to be retargeting, rather than throwing out a quick, easy boost, throwing a $5 out and targeting people that have probably never engaged before. So it makes it more, it makes you target your avatar better, because they've already reached out before to you.
Yeah, exactly. Because through a sales process, and everybody needs to really sit down and think about their sales process, from the time someone sees one of your ads or posts or hears about you, all the way to when they're booking and then a repeat customer. So you want to think about all those stages. And that's why with advertising, you don't want to just shoot it out to everybody, all the time. Like you're really going to start wasting a lot of money, because you're not targeting what I call the warm traffic, which is people who have already heard about you.
So how long, obviously this is, advertising should be done over a long period of time. And this is where I think a lot of people fall short. They want to throw out a couple of ads, a bit of money, and then if they don't get anything from it, they give up. So how long do you find that when you run ads for PMU, aesthetic skin, how long does it take for people to start to see a bit of response coming in? What does it normally take?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say, one, it depends on your budget, because, doing £1 a day is a lot different than doing, 10 pounds a day or 20 pounds a day. And so the more money you're putting into Facebook in general, the more data you're going to get back, the more people you're going to reach. With that being said, I think within the first, few days, like I've never seen a client not get a lead or not get some kind of interaction, within the first 1 or 2 days. Now, the other thing is, a lot of people ask me, well, how long does it take to get bookings? That is, dependent on a lot of factors, because, then people are clicking on your ad, they're looking at your content. So how is your content? Maybe you've already got a reputation in your industry or in your area. Maybe you don't. And so that's a factor. Your work is obviously a big factor. Maybe if you have a good website, there's so many things that play into it. In general, I would say, don't, the biggest mistake I see, which you've already kind of alluded to, is people who, they'll boost a post for a small amount of money and then they don't get instant bookings. And then they're like, well, Facebook ads doesn't work. Facebook is, like we mentioned earlier, Facebook is the best tool there is for reaching people right now. And when I say Facebook, I'm also talking about Instagram, because Facebook owns Instagram. So it's definitely the best tool out there for advertising. I've tried Google, I've tried everything. In fact, I still go back to Facebook as my primary means of advertising. And you have to think of it as a tool. If I had a hammer, but I'm trying to use it to, screw in something, it's not going to work as good as a screwdriver. Mm-hmm. So you have to know what kind of tool and how to use that tool for it to really be effective.
But like you just said, it's got to be backed up as well. So you can have, this is where you'll probably find your clients will get different responses, because you can have the best ad and get all this traffic through. But if it's not backed up with having good work, good photos and a good website, then they're not going to get they're not going to get the solid lead. Right. But I also think as well, when you're dealing with, and this is what I think is different to the more advanced aesthetics and the PMU than, say, your beauty, your nails, your lashes, people take a long time to book, whether that's financial or whether they want it at a certain time of year. So sometimes the ads that you're probably running won't really take effect until 3-6 months down the line. So obviously we have to be consistent as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I tell people to run ads, 365 days of the year. You should always be doing some kind of advertising. Obviously there's different strategies and different phases of advertising. You don't always want to run the exact same thing year round. You want to have, a strategy. But yeah, we're so lucky right now that we can literally take a small phone and we can literally run a business on a phone. People, 10, 20 years ago couldn't do this. And so the fact that we can run a business on our phone and that we could reach thousands of people for literally small amounts of money is just awesome. And I have to, anytime I get frustrated with Facebook or frustrated with technology, I have to remind myself we are so blessed compared to other business owners, throughout previous history.
Definitely. And we have to use it. We have to use it to the advantage. So like you said, with ads, you recommend, if people ads is obviously a form of marketing, that it should be commitment for life, basically. So even if you're getting all the leads in, it's converting to bookings, your diary's busy, people then easily would think, oh, it's work now. I've got my clients, I'll stop. Do you see that a lot in your customers? Do you see a lot of people stopping?
Yeah, I see that a lot, because I think people get, even just looking beyond advertising, I forget who it is, maybe Tony Robbins or someone, they say like everybody has their own thermostat of how, how much they should weigh, how they should look, how successful they should be. And so if your thermostat for your business success, like your bookings, is set to like 75 degrees and you get too hot, like say you get too many bookings, you're going to want to feel like you need to, lower your action, because your standards are set at a certain point. And so I think a lot of people, they work with me and then their expectations are exceeded. And so then they stop and then they wait for them, they wait to feel like they need to advertise again. And it's kind of like an up and down cycle. So if you can stay, like my most successful clients are the ones that just stay consistent with it, whether they're booked up or not, because here's the thing, there's going to be slow times and there's going to be fast times in business in general, whether you're busier during the holidays and maybe you're less busy during other parts of the year, maybe the summer. Business has its seasons. And so you want to stay consistent, and advertising has seasons too. Like I noticed in October, it was a little bit slower all around, because we had, in the US at least, we had tons of, politics and politicians dumping money, millions of dollars into ads. And that was competing with our ads, which kind of affected the performance a little bit. And now, not to say that people didn't get good results still. It's just, I can tell when like different seasons are going to be. Right now, November is an amazing season, because our U.S. elections are over. So no more political ads. Black Friday's coming up, Christmas is coming up, the holidays.
See, we're in a time as well. Obviously, I don't know obviously what COVID is doing to where you are, but in the UK we're back on a lockdown, so we're pretty much back on a lockdown. So, in this moment of time, a lot of people are very scared of spending money. So they would think, you know what, the first thing I need to stop is my advertising. The first thing I need to stop and pull back on is my advertising. So what are your thoughts with that? You know, when it's quiet like this, surely people have to prioritize and up the game a little bit when it comes to the advertising.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own unique situation. I've got multiple UK clients, and once we found out about the new lockdown, some of them immediately said, "Hey, I'm going to go on standby and wait," and some of them are still running ads. And in general, I think the ones that typically run ads more, like I said, consistently, are the ones that are going to be booked up even more when the lockdowns end. Now, of course, you're going to have people who this is their last dollar and they need to save that for food and stuff. I mean, that makes sense. But yeah, if you're able to, I would say always make advertising a priority, because guess what? During a lockdown, people are still going to be on their phones. They're still going to be social media. They're probably going to be on social media more than ever. So this is your chance to make that connection. I always like to tell people, Facebook and Instagram are tools to reach other human beings. And so I think one of the other, worst mindsets I see is thinking that, okay, advertising equals, it should equal a booking, or, I should put $10 in or 10 pounds in and get a booking. That's the wrong way to think about advertising, because I'm sure you teach, branding and marketing and stuff like that. So you got to really build sorry, I can't talk to you. You got to build rapport. You got to build a reputation with people.
Yeah. That know, like, and trust they've got to build. And if they're seeing you a lot and they're seeing all your content out there, then whenever they're ready to make that move, that next ad that pops up will just be like, oh God, yeah, that's the girl I've been seeing all these last months. She's still been very active. And that's what so many people have done. I know I've noticed in the first lockdown, this lockdown, not so much, but the first lockdown, a lot of people just stopped. There wasn't I go live in all my groups quite a lot. I'm always putting out content. I'm always giving something to my clinic followings as well as my coaching following. And so many people just stopped completely. But it was like, well, these people are still on the receiving end. They're still on social media even more so. So this is the time when you need to be, still giving that to them, because they're going to remember you when they're ready.
Yeah, I think business is, 100% mindset a lot of times, because whether it's, COVID or anything, the same people who stopped advertising and stopped business right when COVID hit are also the same people who in 6 months will say they're too busy to do anything and they don't have enough time. Well, you just had a bunch of time, and you have more time right now where you can, learn new skills. You can, learn more about marketing. You can, fresh up on your skills at home, whether you practice, whether it's browse or whatever. This is the time when you can really, life goes in seasons, and this is the time where you can really improve yourself so that you're ready for the next big wave of success.
Definitely. So if there was someone out there that wanted to, obviously, I always think when it's coming to something that is not your forte. So marketing for me is not my forte. That's what and you do. So that's why I've invested, with you to do that. But if you've got somebody who's not at that position yet and they want to try and have a little bit of a dabble themselves, what do you find tends to work better? Are you looking at photos or videos or text content? What do you find that people get more engagement from?
I think it's good to have a variety, because not every person's going to watch a video. But then if you only have photos, people, even if you have the best photos in the world, people are probably going to get kind of bored if you don't have some kind of variety. So you definitely want to have variety. Videos do get great engagement as far as, an engaged consumer, like someone who wants to learn more about you will watch your videos. They'll feel like they know you better, especially if you do talking videos like this. Yeah. Especially let's say you do a video walk through your salon or spa. They're going to feel a lot more comfortable, because a big part of marketing is reducing or eliminating fear and uncertainty. And so if you can, show them what to expect, where to expect, who to expect, it's kind of like everyone's afraid of the dark. If you get rid of that darkness in your business, so to speak, you're able to really expose like, hey, this is a great service. This is who you're dealing with. This is where I'm located. And people will feel a lot better about coming to you instead of just like a random business where they've only seen maybe a couple before and afters and they don't know anything else.
Yeah. A lot of people, it's kind of hiding behind your brand. And at the end of the day, in this industry, people are paying for you. And like you just touched on, they want to build that trust with you. So, and some people are scared of doing videos. A lot of people don't like talking. But I think if we don't embrace that part of this new digital world that we're in for, using it for marketing, then we are going to get left behind, because people, like you say, get bored of photos and want to see you as a person. Definitely.
Yeah, I always laugh when people, they don't want to do videos for their business, but then they turn around and go watch Netflix and movies and stuff like that. It's like, if you prefer videos, don't you think your customers probably prefer videos too?
Yeah, definitely. So any other tips for if somebody wants to get into trying ads themselves? Obviously videos work better. Any other tips that you would say that they could obviously try themselves? Or
yeah, I mean, I would say try to think about your ideal client, like who you're really marketing to, who you're really speaking to, because I think a lot of people who try their own ads, or just inexperienced marketers too, I see this all the time, they'll just try to focus on a discount or focus on a sell, or just, focus on like the bare minimum details. Like they'll just make an ad that says, get beautiful permanent makeup. Well, you're not really incentivizing anyone, because you're not really speaking to them. You've got to really, when you're, whether it's ads or content, you have to really talk about the benefits, not only the straight facts, but also the emotional benefits, and learn how to tie it back into your offer. And so really try to think about who your ideal client is. What do they like? What do they do for fun? What do they, what kind of work do they normally do? Like, what age are they? And then try to like really speak through that to your content.
So it's kind of finding your, I did a podcast about this recently, find your avatar. You've got to know exactly who you're talking to. So every time you're doing an ad or a post, you're talking to that person. And you're right. Some people they go too generic. And I think what you said is perfect with, rather than selling the service, you sell the result. So just saying I can do good eyebrows is not going to be as meaningful to somebody as finally ditch that pencil or get out the swimming pool and your eyebrows will still be there, or whatever it may be. So it's selling that end result. So if somebody was ready to work with you, where would somebody find you for? I know you've got a couple of little boot camps that you've got going off at the moment. Obviously someone can work with you on a one-to-one with the marketing, but how can somebody reach out and get a little bit more of, get in your head a little bit more?
Yeah, I love teaching. I've got a free boot camp, like you mentioned, that I just came up with, like, I think it was about a month and a half ago now. I've got a lot of great feedback on that. So if you want to watch it, I think it's 90 minutes long, and I go through 9 steps of how to come up with, a real, I call it a battle plan, but like basically a marketing business plan, so that you can learn how to do those things, like reach your ideal clients and, what direction to really take, whether you're new or experienced. You can find that on PMU Marketer. It's spelled like this. I don't know if you can see in the video, pmumarketer.com/bootcamp.
Yeah. When I release this podcast and video, I can put your link in there and all your bits anyway. I like that you call it the boot camp because your background is military as well, isn't it? Yeah. And you still do that now, is that right?
Yep, I'm actually a current military pilot right now. And so I've been in the military about 7 years. And so a lot of the things that I learned doing that, and even teaching people how to fly and, keeping them from crashing the plane and stuff like that, I brought all those things into, marketing and advertising, and really coming up with like processes and stuff. So it really paid off to have those skills, and it's nice to be able to share them.
Definitely. No, that's fantastic. Any final tips that you'd like to give before we call it a day? Because I know you're such a busy guy, and I've pulled you away from, it's 11 a.m. where Jake is now. So it's evening time here. So pulled him away from his desk. So any other final tips that you'd like to give someone to, work with the ads?
Sure. I mean, I'm not a very salesy guy. Like, I'm not saying you should work with me or anything, but here's what I posted about this this morning, or I think I did a Facebook story. Here's the thing that I hate seeing. I hate when people like look into something, or, consider working with me, and then they even reach out to me, and then a year or two later, I never hear from them again. And then a year or two later, they reach back out to me, and they're in the same position or usually worse than they were before. And so my urge to everyone is stop procrastinating, stop waiting. If you want to try something new, like, everybody's so scared of making a mistake. They're scared of they're going to make the wrong decision. And that really just leads to procrastination and then making no decision, which is the worst thing you can do, because then you're not progressing at all. You're not learning anything. You're not challenging yourself. You're just staying in your own little bubble, and not growing. And so really the key to growth is just saying yes to things. I mean, obviously you don't want to say yes to everything. You want to do your research and make sure it's a smart decision. But if you're thinking about something for longer than a day or two, you're probably overthinking it, or you're probably just letting fear hold you back. And so whatever you're thinking about doing right now that's going to benefit you and, grow your business and stuff, like, just say yes to it and try it. I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But trust me, I've seen so many people.
I did that. I reached out to you a long time ago, and then, and I never took it up. And like you say, you end up being in the same position that you were when you first reached out. And the thing is, there's no such thing as making a mistake. If you do something, obviously do your research, check out, whatever route of any kind of like marketing, or whether you're working with branding or coaching, whatever it is, do your research, make sure that that they know what they're doing. But if it doesn't work for you, then you just don't do it again, and you move on to the next thing to help your business. So, mistakes are good. We need to make mistakes, don't we, really?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my best learning experiences have been through, decisions or mistakes, if you want to call it that. So, I mean, I'm thankful for all the mistakes I've made.
Yeah, awesome. So that's it for today, guys. So if you want to reach out to Jake, then PMU Marketer. I think you can find him on Instagram. You're on Facebook. You've got the groups. When this goes out on my podcast and YouTube channel, I'm going to put in the bootcamp link as well. I'm going to sign up to that as well, because I saw that post recently of your bootcamp. But no, thank you for making time to meet with me today. And thank you for the interview. I think it gives some really valuable tips that people can take on board, have a little bit of if they want to have a dabble themselves, go for it, or just actually look at how it works. But even if they just reach out to you, try the boot camp and see what happens, then that's a win-win for them. So
yeah, thanks for having me. Great interview, great questions. And I'll definitely be in touch with you soon, of course, since we're working together.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Jake. I will let you get back to work. And thank you.